Hi there. This is going to be a quick video because I want to put focus on one specific point. That yes, because they have announced that the Game of Thrones prequel series, House of the Dragon, will premiere on August 21st, it will be running against Amazon Prime's huge Lord of the Rings Second Age prequel series, which starts September 2nd. Some people are saying this is a bad thing or framing it as the battle of the fantasy juggernauts. I'm not really hyping that up, and I don't see it as a problem at all. I think that a rising tide lifts all boats. That, yes, there'll be fantasy, and that's good. Remember that 10 years ago when Game of Thrones started, it faced a glass ceiling of, a lot of bias against that fantasy can be serious drama, which is ironic because Lord of the Rings movie series did the same thing, but for film 10 years before that. I thought, wow, the Lord of the Rings trilogy swept the Oscars. It was very well received by all sorts of critics, and this broke doors for the entire fantasy genre in all formats, but then they were still saying, no, Game of Thrones Season 1, it's that silly fantasy show. Even when it was, really close to the books in the earlier seasons, it faced a lot of bias that really wasn't deserved. And, now we have, like, The Witcher and Wheel of Time, that things have changed, but even so, you don't want to be the only fantasy show in the room. That people be comparing, I don't think it would be desirable to have of the two big drama series in a given season are, well, there's The Lord of the Rings and there's HBO's Succession. For example, I don't know if they're airing at the same time, but, well, one is a serious drama of people in suits talking in meeting rooms, and, oh, there's that fantasy sci-fi thing over there. Or if not fantasy, then some other science fiction thing. There's also a bias against that. So it's nice not to be the only fantasy show that's a serious contender for among the top 10 shows. I mean, there's also, like, Sandman will be coming out. We don't know when the exact schedule is. That you don't want to be the only fantasy thing. Well, Sandman broke down genres even as it redefined them, but I don't think it's, the high fantasy, low fantasy stuff, but, same thing. That it's nice to not be alone. And the other thing was, as opposed to, hyping up the armed camps going against us, most people like both. Some channels I've seen were saying, oh man, we're going to be so busy. Well, 2 points against that are, having too many things to report on is a problem we want to have. I mean, look at where we are now. In January through March, there was nothing to talk about. I mean, channels who cover Witcher and Wheel of Time, when their seasons ended, they ran out of stuff to talk about. Well, some of them are branching out into, sci-fi things, but it's a different genre. That we have had so little. It was so amazing when they finally announced the release date and put out some new promo pics. The first news we'd had for House of the Dragon in almost 5 months. That at this point, I want to have too much stuff. That it fuels our channels and our social lives on here, in addition to that, just having people interact with. And the community was really suffering from this inactivity. So I welcome having all these people on here. This is a good thing. I mean, back when, like, the Lord of the Rings prequel teaser came out during the Super Bowl, there was still some buzz from House of the Dragon was wrapping up filming. It actually wrapped filming right after Valentine's Day. So you saw people from both channels for both shows. They were covering both things. There was discussion. I made analysis videos about the teaser trailer and the interviews that came out in Vanity Fair for it, while we were still reporting on, okay, we think they're wrapping filming this week for House of the Dragon. That was a good time when I could bounce between both things. I was really busy, but it was really rewarding. So that is a problem we want to have. And I said 2 points. The second one is, guys, they don't even premiere on the same night of the week. If you look at the schedule, like, House of the Dragon will come out Sundays like Game of Thrones did. The Lord of the Rings prequel series is dropping Fridays. Amazon puts out its stuff on Fridays. This might have been a little bit of a problem if they came out on the same day, but, the difference between, Friday to Sunday, I don't really see this as being an issue. So some channels, you're seeing the clickbait of, oh, the battle of the fantasy juggernauts. I think they complement each other, and I don't anticipate a problem. That's not why I made this video, though. It was just a quick point I wanted to share with all of you, looking at the schedule of specifically when they chose to release House of the Dragon. Now, if you're new to my channel, we've been, trying to track down the premiere date for months, and we had some bad guesses there, but we were narrowing it down to, I was saying, probably August. A lot of other channels realized after some of the actors said probably August, it was narrowing it down. But still, what specific weekend? At first, we didn't think they were going to run directly against Lord of the Rings, in which case, to fit 10 Sundays for 10 episodes before September 2nd, they'd have to start in late June. Then we realized, they probably don't want to miss the big promotional boost from San Diego Comic-Con. They'll premiere the first Sunday in August right after that. Well, Comic-Con's last week of July, so the first Sunday they could do it is July 31st, which, okay, that's basically August. I thought they'd do that at the earliest, and someone else pointed out, if you look at HBO's schedule, if they air one new show every Sunday night for Time Traveler's Wife and then their Westworld show, the first Sunday that House of the Dragon could premiere is August 14th. So I was a little surprised when they went to August 21st. Well, I say if they air one a night, there's some speculation that maybe they'll double up Time Traveler's Wife with double episodes, because that's actually what they've been doing for Station 11. Because it's a limited run, one-shot miniseries. Maybe they'll double up some episode releases. We're not sure, but at the very latest, if they aired one per week, August 14th. Why is it a week later with August 21st? This is the question I made this video to address. If you haven't been following this recently, and what I think this is no accident. Why not a little earlier? Why not a little before? Also, you might have seen me go, I thought for a minute maybe they'll do a split season thing. Some people were arguing maybe they'll release it after Lord of the Rings in October, which I went from thinking was a crazy idea to, they might actually do that. Then maybe there'll be a split season, because there's a 10-year time skip exactly in the middle of House of the Dragon, between episodes 5 and 6. So maybe they do 5 between Comic-Con and Lord of the Rings and 5 after it. They're not doing that. They're going head-to-head with it. Well, Friday, Sunday. Why is the premiere August 21st? Well, looking at the schedule, the first episode of House of the Dragon that will premiere after the Lord of the Rings premiere is the third episode. That'll be Friday, September 2nd is Lord of the Rings, then Saturday, September 3rd, then Sunday, September 4th. 2 days later, you'll have House of the Dragon Episode 3. Well, we know from spy photos and the schedules they've released, Episode 3 is the big, full-scale battle episode of the season. This isn't even a secret that we saw all of these spy photos that had the episode director in it, Greg Yaitanes, who is slated to be directing episodes 2 and 3 as a block. And we could tell from the photos, this is the war for the Stepstones. This happens early in Season 1. And some people who haven't been following the spy photos thought, oh, Game of Thrones fell into the habit of usually having the big climactic battle of the season in the 9th episode, and then the 10th episode is dealing with the fallout of that and setting up the next season. They didn't always do that, but that was a pattern. Season 1 can't do that just due to the way the story is structured. And it's not really a problem that, think Season 4, when Tyrion killed Tywin at the finale, that wasn't even episode 9, that was the finale, but that was a big one-on-one assassination, betrayal, or duel. Tyrion killing Tywin doesn't have any less impact, it's not a full-scale battle scene. End of Season 1 of House of the Dragon will have stuff like that. If you've read the prequel novella it's based on, The Rogue Prince, and the chapter in the Fire and Blood anthology it's based on, that the war only starts when the king dies and then the rival sides form. So there's betrayals and assassinations, and we think Season 1 is going to end with the dance over Storm's End. because they've been casting Baratheon characters. So it's going to end with the first dragon versus dragon fight of the war, which will be a CGI spectacle, but it's a one-on-one thing with, actors who are on, green screen rigs. If you're talking big action scenes with literally hundreds of extras fighting, we have spy photos of that. They filmed it on the beaches of Cornwall. Then we could tell from their costumes, okay, these are mercenaries from the Free Cities. And just from all this, the spy stuff, the director they put in, that, like I said, it's filmed as a block, that episode 2 is mostly set up for the war for the Stepstones, and we even have spy video clips of this, we could tell. And then we saw these giant action scenes of the actual battle. This battle does involve dragons, but it's one-sided. It's Daemon on Caraxes, Matt Smith on Caraxes, his dragon, fighting mercenary fleets. Think like a season 6 when Daenerys Targaryen burned the slaver fleet. That wasn't a dragon versus dragon fight, but it was a big battle scene where dragons were attacking people who didn't have them. Good luck to them. So episode 3 will be the large-scale, oh my god, battle scene. And there will be stunning betrayals and assassinations in the last 2 episodes. But it's a different scale. It's like Tyrion killing Tywin. But in terms of large-scale spectacle, what some people are going, oh, I bet episode 9 will be the battle. No, it's episode 3. Just due to the way the story is structured, it'll make sense when you see it. Well, that's when that happened. And then there was fallout from that. That there's pirates in the islands of what's basically their Caribbean blocking off trade, and they go in to fight a private war to clear them out. And it's a proxy war, and it's just background for what Matt Smith's character is doing. I'm excited. I thought they'd cut that. But it's good. It helps work in the Free Cities more, that it's not just Westeros, see some of the other cultures outside of that, just the wider world, because it's not as world-spanning of a story as Game of Thrones was with Daenerys and Jon Snow outside of the Seven Kingdoms. Point is, we already knew, if you've been following my channel, I've had mock-up schedules of the season for a couple of months now going, we're pretty sure that the big battle scene of the season is episode 3. So I just put 2 and 2 together, looking at the schedule here, that the first episode that will air after the Lord of the Rings premiere, because they're premiering on August 21st, the first one after Lord of the Rings on September 2nd is going to be the gigantic battle episode with hundreds of extras and dragons burning things. And that's no accident. I realize that the premiere date is no accident. That even if it was what I told you, the earlier date we thought it could be, August 14th, that if they air everything one episode every Sunday, Time Traveler's Wife, then the Westworld finale, they could have started House of the Dragon on August 14th. But then the episode that would follow the Lord of the Rings premiere, because everything's shifted one weekend earlier, would be episode 4, which, based on descriptions, is a lot of the romance stuff with Rhaenyra and the star-crossed romance that later turns into bitter enemies, and it's setting up what turn into the rival political factions that hate each other and lead to the big civil war that will be the story of the rest of the entire series. For a couple of years now, it's setting that up, but it's a mid-season thing where plots are in motion, but it isn't a big battle, it isn't very climactic. I wouldn't even say there's any betrayals in it. Based on our outline, I think it's the one episode that no one person would necessarily die in, because it's this big hunting scene and a lot of courtly romance that they're forcing Rhaenyra into a political marriage and she loves someone else, and this eventually leads to a civil war, but they're setting it up. You don't have a slow burn episode like that immediately after the spectacle of the Lord of the Rings premiere. So I can tell, why did they put it so late? It's so episode 3 can win back the audience with a giant battle scene after the Lord of the Rings premiere. At least that makes sense to me. And I'm fine with this. This was the smart move.